Joining us on the Heaster Automotive Group hotline, our friend ESPN. She covers the Steelers. You can catch her on Get Up with Mike Greenberg every so often. It is Brooke Pryor. Brooke, how are you?
I'm wonderful because I'm in the off season. Although now I'm sure news will happen any minute. So
well, there's no true off season. There's no true off season for you because in the Super Bowl you have to go out and find the features, the fun things to write about. And you did this. I don't know if you've heard, but there's some brothers playing in the Super Bowl.
What? Really?
It's kind of like Jerome Bettis is from Detroit.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I see that you caught up with the barber or an old barber for the Kelsey brothers. How did this come about?
So it's funny. This is one of those, like, when you're a reporter, no matter what team you're covering or where you are, like, save every number in your contact list and also just like keep a mental list of people you talk to, because I met Alex Quintana back when I covered the Chiefs for the Kansas City Star in 2018. I went to Cleveland a week before the Chiefs played the Browns in Cleveland and decided to do a story on like Travis Kelce coming back to his hometown and all that stuff. And I don't even remember how I got connected with Alex, but it was like friend of a friend or friend of a high school coach, whatever it was. And the next thing I know, not only am I in the barbershop where Travis Kelce would go get his haircut during high school, would literally cut class because he would charm the school security guard. Then Alex is like, "Oh, do you want to see the speakeasy that we have?" And I was like, "Do I want to see the speakeasy?" And sure enough, it's like upstairs, and the barbershop is in this 2-story house. And you go upstairs, and it's like, I mean, literally behind a bookshelf. And you open a book and you press it. His family's from Cuba, I believe. So one of the books that has the button that opens the door is a book, I think, about the Cuban Revolution or a Cuban author. You press the button and go in, and it's like this really small room. It's really cool. So I caught up with Alex as soon as the Chiefs won and it was confirmed, like it's the Kelsey Brothers Bowl. I was like, you know what? I'm going to run it back. I'm going to go talk to Alex. And he told me all about cutting Travis and Jason's hair and said Jason never cut class to get a haircut while Travis did frequently. So that's the only real difference you need to know between the two, which you could have guessed by just looking at them.
I was going to say, I think you're answering a week-long question that we've had here at the OG, which is, who do you think mom is really rooting for? Who do you think is truly her favorite? My theory all along has been Jason.
She did say, I think it was an ESPN interview she did, was asked, like, if you're doing game night at the Kelsey house, who do you want to be your teammate? And she said Jason.
Okay.
I think Jason gave her less headaches.
Correct. I think we could definitely surmise that.
I think that's a pretty baseline one. But you know what? It was really cool because not only did I talk to the barber, I talked to Kerry Coombs, who was one of their coaches at Cincinnati. And he and Jason were a big reason why Travis got reinstated, because Travis was kicked off the team when Butch Jones took over the program for a violation of team rules. And it was Jason and Kerry. Kerry was, he was neither one of their position coaches, but just got to know them really well. And it was Kerry advocating on behalf of Jason and Travis to Butch Jones saying, this kid deserves a second chance. So it's really cool to see how many people these brothers have impacted.
I feel like we can do an entire segment. We can probably take phone calls, a caller-driven segment asking the question, when did you find out that you were either the favorite child or that your sibling was the favorite child? That could really open up some trauma for people, and we can be there. We do pack therapy.
We do.
Maybe we can do some therapy in this regard, too.
I don't know if insurance would accept that kind of therapy. That would
Probably not. Probably
be really deep.
Brooke,
ours is free though, so
yeah, no big deal. Brooke Pryor, and we have beer here at the station. So here, let's go ahead and drink
some liquor.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got the vodka right over there. All right. So that being said, Brooke Pryor, ESPN, joining us here on the OG alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovias. You are based in Pittsburgh. You cover the Steelers, but it is a state with lots of football teams, obviously. And do Eagles fans exist in Pittsburgh?
I don't think so. If they do, they're very quiet. However, I learned recently that at one point in their history, I think the Eagles and Steelers were one team before they split, maybe. I am not great at football history, but I am good at shopping. And that is how I learned that, because there's a local t-shirt company called Steel City. They make awesome stuff, and they are selling Steagles shirts in Eagles colors.
That's a very specific demographic.
So,
I just hope
seen
both
people
teams have
purchase it.
fun.
I have nearly been influenced to purchase it myself. I have not, though. So, and by this point, like, I mean, could I even get it in time for the game? Sure, if I went to the brick and mortar, which maybe now I'm going to talk my way into doing that.
You totally will.
Yeah, I know myself. But no, it is I am literally sitting right outside Heinz Field as I record this, and I can tell you it is a very Steelers town. There are not many Eagles fans, if any, here.
Brooke Pryor, ESPN, joining us here on the Heaster Automotive Group Hotline. That's Joe Elvias. I'm Joe Giglio. All right, the game itself, you did used to cover the Chiefs in their infancy before this run here, or as it was beginning. Kelsey, obviously, Travis is a big personality. Every time I hear Patrick Mahomes' voice, I realize why we don't hear Patrick Mahomes' voice that often. I feel like he's a Michael Jordan, a Derek Jeter. Like, he doesn't want to say anything. He doesn't want to be interesting. He just wants to sell insurance. I don't really know. But does he have more personality, I guess, is what I'm asking, behind the scenes than he does what he shows kind of publicly? Does he kind of let his family handle the crazy part? Does he probably think there's enough crazy in his family so that he doesn't have to be outlandish?
Yeah, I think he is funny. I think he does have a personality. I watched a couple clips of him on the Kelsey Brothers New Heights podcast, and he made some jokes. But I think that, like, he is, I don't know how to describe it, because I don't think that he is maybe as boring or as game focused as he seems in all of, like, the media availabilities, all that stuff. Like, I think he does have a personality, but he has always been so polished and professional. I mean, his dad was practicing, like, press conferences and stuff when he was a kid. His dad, former professional league baseball player. So I think that he has been kind of programmed to know when to turn it on and turn it off. But I do think that he is more than just a robot, even if, like, he looks like an alien robot when he's out there playing on, like, one ankle, making no look throws, and you're just like, wow, how is this happening? But I do think he is more interesting than he appears.
Brooke Pryor, ESPN, covers the Steelers, joining us here on the OG alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovias. Let's go to the commissioner's State of the NFL address yesterday, where, I don't know, maybe he got a little too much sun in Arizona the day before. But the point that I'm curious about was he still out? Was he still in that mode? Was he still feeling good when he said that officiating's never been better in the NFL?
He said that, and I just looked at my TV because I wrote the news story for ESPN, so I'm watching it from, like, a work perspective and everything. I'm, like, typing everything, transcribing it as he's going. And he said that, and I wrote it down, and I was like, wait, what?
Did he say what now?
He said that with a straight face. Like, I understand that you want to support the officials, and the officials have an impossible job. Look, my mom, she is not an NFL official, but she does officiate field hockey on both a high school and college level. And I have been going with her to games since I was in middle school. Before that, she was a field hockey coach. So I've seen both sides of it. And I see how much people attack officials all the time, especially when it's a game that has complicated rules. And so you want to publicly support your officials. However, when you say it that way, I felt like it was just straight gaslighting. Like, there is a way to constructively criticize while also praising the officials.
Yeah.
Saying something like, across the league, we feel like they did a great job. However, there were some things that we'd like to clean up, that we could maybe clean up by, I don't know, paying them as full-time employees. There are ways to fix this, but by just pretending that the problem doesn't exist does a disservice to the officials and the fans. But, does the NFL even care about fans? No, because if
No,
they wouldn't talk about flexing Monday night and Thursday night games along with Sunday night games. So yeah, that was I feel like I was just thrown in another vortex. And I was like, I don't know what Goodell's been watching, but we have been watching very different football games.
It was a little bit like a swim coach being like, man, our times are so much faster than they were in the 70s. Yeah, dude, let's hope so. Your swim team gets faster every year. Your officials get better every year. My disappointment, Brooke, was there just seems to be no initiative to use technology to help the officials in a way that they could advance it. And, you know, you look at the college football national, the semifinal, where the game literally turned on there being an extra camera in the first down marker. So, you know, the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar business, the biggest business there is in this country in sports, and for them, and TV for that matter. And for them to not want to embrace technology in a way that would improve the game and help the officials boggles my mind. For him to stand up there and act as if it's all great, it's the best it's ever been. While yes, that is a certainly defensible declarative position, it's certainly not one that is forward thinking either.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It is crazy that in a league that prints money, that also will use technology in every other facet of the game, you know, when it comes to training and rehab and concussion diagnosis and all of these things, we are so quick to implement extra technology. I mean, shoot, even stadiums now that are cashless stadiums that you have to have the ticket on your phone, all of this stuff. The technology is there. We know that there are chips in the footballs. I mean, there are ways to seamlessly integrate more technology for a better product of the game. I mean, does it stink when you're sitting there waiting for a replay to go over and over and over again? Yes. However, if it makes the game better and fixes some of these what seem to be very avoidable errors, then I'm all for it. And I think the players are all for it. The league should be all for it. But they also know, like, people aren't going to stop watching or stop playing because the officials aren't officiating correctly. So it's know
part of the content, by the way.
Right.
It's part of the content. I think that's the other reason why they're not really all that quick to get it right, because it ends up producing days and days worth of conversation, which of course is what the NFL ultimately wants. But what they don't understand is that, you know, for those in the triangle, we're also having days and days of conversations trying to understand what's wrong with the Tar Heels. So
at least I will go to sleep every night knowing that UNC ended Kay's career in the Final Four.
So it's going to have to last you a while, Brooke.
My whole life. Yep. It's going to be hopefully a long one. Yeah, it's dark.
Brooke, wow. All right. Well, on a dark note, that's what Pittsburgh does to you. All right. That's good. That'll wrap up our conversation. Thanks, Brooke.
Thanks, guys.